I don't know. We'll just tell.
Here we are again. Man, we got Alden and Jimmy Tran pushing the buttons, organizing all the electronics. We got the A team behind me. Nerves. I got to perform at least half as good as those guys look. They keep Henry T on the air. Today, I'm telling you, I am a blessed man. I go back in time and I start counting my blessings and all the great people I've been able to associate with in my career. And today I bring out one of the superstars. He and I kind of grown up together in our community. I've watched him coach and teach, be a scholar athlete, everything. St. Pius, Sandia, AAU teams, Babe Ruth teams, whatever it was. He's got to be the most involved baseball man our state has ever known. And now his legacy, his great tradition, all those trophies that he's garnered out at Rio Rancho High School, he and his staff and kids have built the finest baseball facility in the state. Playing field, my opinion, better than the Isotopes. There's no bad hops in Rio Rancho. And I've watched Coach Murphy build that field, build the program. It's an honor to have him on this show today and share Coach Ron Murphy with you. Before, let's pretend we have a big cake here. We don't say how many candles are going on the cake, but we're going to light it. We got the Rio Rancho Fire Department standing by with all that fire around us because that's a lot of candles. I won't say how many, Coach. Happy birthday, buddy. How are you?
Thank you. And it's a lot of candles. And I'm not embarrassed to say there's 62 of them and going strong. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You had a great career. Man, you've had great people around you. But, you know, first of all, you were motivated and inspired by a great mom and dad back playing stickball on the streets of New York. How did mom and dad motivate you, and where did your life go from there?
Well, mom and dad, I don't know if the word was motivation. It was just how you were brought up, very old school. I mean, you know, I was the oldest of 8. The one rule I had was I always was responsible for my 4 brothers and my 3 sisters. If they got in trouble, I was in trouble. So I got to look out for them. We had chores to do. If we didn't do them, we had consequences. We weren't allowed to sit in the house all day. After our chores were done, we had to leave the house and go find something to do. Hang out with your friends, go play ball, you know, hang out at school, do something, but, you know, and then be back in time for dinner. But we weren't sitting around in the house on the couch, playing Atari, video games or anything like that. We had to be out playing something out in the community with our friends or our teams and go from there. So what my parents instilled in me, I guess, was discipline and a work ethic. And what they really, really made sure was that I respected everybody around me, and especially my elders, my aunts, my uncles, the neighbors, the adults. They really, really instilled in me that of respect of elders, and they really instilled in me the American flag. My dad was United States Marines, and my mom and dad are both buried at Santa Fe National Cemetery today. And my dad was as patriotic as they came, and he really instilled that in me. So I tried to instill that into my own family and my baseball program as well.
Boy, they gave you work ethic because, man, I'm telling you, you put in more hours at your stadium with your kids and your coaches. You teach your class, you coach baseball when you're not doing that. Man, where is the leisure time in your life?
Well, you know what, Henry? A lot of what I do around baseball revolves around my family also. My grandsons, two of them play baseball. My son's on the Rio Rancho baseball team. So the families gets involved. They come to the games. My grandson's a bat boy. My son plays for me. And to be honest, all these years coaching, all those kids are my sons. I mean, you're a mentor to all those kids, and coming out on the field and doing things, that was my leisure, and it still is. I mean, that's when this COVID things hit and we were stuck in the house and nobody was allowed to get out, I struggled. I think I mentally struggled really, really bad. I had a hard time with it, and once I got around my kids, I felt better again. And my kids brought me back to life. My players, and so I don't look at it as coming to the field and all that work and hours I put in. I look at it to it's almost therapy for me, and that is my leisure. That's my love. This is where I want to be, and I'm very blessed that I get to be here at Rio Rancho High School at this facility and at this community that I love.
Is it true you stopped by heaven one day and found a great wife and brought her to Rio Rancho with you?
Actually, I found her at the University of New Mexico. When I came out here, I went to school and met my wife over there. And it's kind of funny. I met her, talked to her for about 2 minutes, and then she worked at a different part of the UNM sub than I did. And I told her boss, "Can you tell that girl I want to marry her?" And I was fooling around because I didn't even know her that well. And lo and behold, I guess it worked. We've been married over 30 years.
Man, that's a great line.
Yeah. Well, I guess at least once it was.
Coach, I appreciate you being on this show today. You're in the state tournament again and again. 5 state championships in Rio Rancho, other state championships at the other schools you've been at. Thousands of great athletes. I mean, is it safe to say you're a blessed leader, a blessed man, a blessed educator?
It's no doubt a definite. I am blessed. And we kind of talked about this before. I am blessed because of the people that I have been lucky to be surrounded around. My assistant coaches, my players over the years, my parents, my immediate family, my extended family in New York are always writing me letters and telling me stuff. Former players like, Brendan Donnelly makes the major leagues and still comes back. And then Blake Swihart puts us on the field at Boston Red Sox, Fenway Park. I've been blessed in the people I've been around. It's really not a lot that I have done. It's more what everybody has done around me to make me a better person. So yes, I've been very, very blessed. My dad pretty much insisted when I graduated from high school at 17 years old that I was coming to live in New Mexico. I'm not quite sure if I understood it at that time, and why, but thank God for my dad and his foresight to make me go live on my own, become a young man, and figure it out. And then luckily, while I was figuring it out, I surrounded myself with great people that deserve a lot more credit than I do, Henry.
I was in your beginning trail of success, watching you build your stadium and the early kids that were on those great rosters. One day you got me a little chair and a little table. It was blowing like 5,000 miles per hour. It was a big game. We had it on the radio. We strung electricity for miles. We got the game on the air. And then the wind started blowing. And I remember those are the days I still wore contact lenses. And I'm right behind home plate. And that wind is coming right at the batter, coming right at Henry T. Man, I had sore eyes. I had a face filled with sand in the hot sun. It was miserable, but I was having a great time because I was with the Rio Rancho Rams and Coach Ron Murphy. Thank you for those beginning days.
Well, thank you, Henry. Yeah, we had quite a bit. We always get some wind, but back in those days, our community wasn't built yet. So everything around us was open land. So the dirt would blow like crazy. Now you look across the street from our baseball stadium and there's houses all over the place. So we don't get that kind of dirt blowing around here as much. We get it occasionally. But yeah, you know, we started out here 23 years ago, and our baseball program has been blessed. I have two of my assistant coaches right now that played for me 20 years ago. And there's nothing better than having an alumni coming back and watching your games, playing for you, and still wanting to be part of your program. And to me, that's better than any state championship that anybody could ever win.
You know, I love it when you come out to the field because it's like you do some things that are special to you. Whether you walk around the field, whether you check the lines, you check your equipment, you're always doing something. You're never standing. You're always busy. You're inspiring a player. You get the rake or shovel going. You're fixing the water, the sprinklers. You're doing something to your field for your kids, for the opponent's kids. And all of that work combined and all those things I described has built literally the finest baseball facility in New Mexico. And trophy cases filled behind you, all the plaques and photos and everything. Your legacy. Now, let me just ask you, what would you think your legacy will be now that you are retired?
Well, I'm only retired from teaching. I haven't retired from coaching. I'm not ready to give up that part yet. I think if I retired from coaching, they'd have to bury me in the third base coaching box because I don't think I could survive not coming to the field every day. You know what? I don't know what my legacy would be. I hope it's something to do with the fact that I loved high school kids and that I cared about them all the way through their adulthood, and the rest of their life. And that's, that means so much more than any awards or trophies or anything else. It's just that you made a difference in the kids' lives that have played for you and moved on in their future. So, if I had a legacy that I would want to create, I would hope that would be part of it, is that I've helped mentor the kids, not only when they play for me, but stayed in touch with them and made a difference in their future. And that would be pretty exceptional for me.
You know, it's a love story because whether you know it or not, you're an extension of their family. Some of the kids you've had don't have a father around regularly. You're their dad, and you give them that love. You give them tough love. How about that part of coaching that's not X's and O's? It's just one on one with a young kid who needs you, the man you are.
Well, to be honest, Henry, coaching, and it's not just me, it's all the coaches out there coaching, especially the high school coaches from every sport. But coaching is only 10% of the game. 90% is all those things you mentioned outside the line. Working with kids' grades, talking to their teachers. They may come from a single parent family. Some kids may have money, some don't. I always say, as a coach, you wear a hat, many different hats. You're a mom, you're a dad, you're a psychologist, you're a trainer, you're a coach, you're a teacher, you're a mentor. I mean, you're a big brother. There's so many things you are, and that's what I love about coaching, is that no 2 days are the same. Every day those kids walk in, they've had a different day at school. Some have had a good day, some have had a bad day, some have had an indifferent day, some are depressed, some are really happy. And you as a coach got to figure out a way to pull them all together for that afternoon and get them back on track. So to me, and it's not just me, it's my whole staff. That's our job, is to get them back on track, hopefully get them in the right direction and go from there. But yeah, we do wear a hat with many titles, and I think the good coaches out there thrive on that because that's how we make our difference. And to me, that's more fun. Believe it or not, I enjoyed the 90% of the job more helping kids than the 10% of the actual game itself.
Here's one for you and the audience. Coach may not even remember this, but a few years back, I went in there to get a lineup from you early, and there was a young ball player who played for you, one of your studs, and he had a bad day, not because of academics, and I could overhear something, and then after I heard it, I got out. But his girlfriend broke up with him. He was hurt. He couldn't think of getting to the plate right now with a stick. All he could think about was getting hurt by his girlfriend saying, "Hey, you're not my boyfriend anymore." He was devastated. He had tears going. You comforted him. I got out of there because I felt I was interfering. I don't know if you ever remember a day like that, but I could see you really going to work, and you made him feel better. And I had to broadcast the game. Consequently, you made him feel so good. He went out there on the field that day and got 3 hits. You made him feel special. A big part of Ron Murphy that I will never forget.
Well, I got a lot of experience with girlfriends dumping you. I got dumped by like 500 girls when I was dating in high school, so I can relate to that. Yeah, and those are the kind of things you deal with kids. They have terrible days like that, and you've been through it. You got to teach them the reality and let them know life moves on. I always tell our players in high school, hey, the girl you meet now is probably not the girl you're going to marry. Maybe she is, but she probably, in college, other things are going to happen. You're going to meet more people. It's meant to be. I mean, yeah, you got to pick that kid up. As a coach, you got to know that when it's time to put your arm around a kid and tell him you love him, or when it's the time to put your foot inserted and tell them, hey, get moving and stop feeling sorry for yourself. So there's a fine line with every situation a kid has. And you as a coach has to figure out the mentality of every kid and what that kid needs. Some need tough love, some need an arm around them. But the bottom line is you got to love every kid. Every kid is your son while they're out here on the baseball field. And whether it's tough love or not, I'm strict on my kids and I'm tough and I get on them for missing school or not doing anything or not hustling. I'm as intense and tough on them as anybody else. But I tell my kids all the time I love them, and I tell them why I'm tough on them, and I tell them there is going to be tough love, so they know it's coming. But our philosophy and our program and our coaching staff is for every negative the kid receives, it's our job to make sure he gets 2 positives. So if I jump on a kid for doing something wrong, then it's either my assistant coach's job or another player's job to go up to that kid and pick him back up. We got to make sure that kid gets 2 positives for every negative, because in today's society, it's the opposite. It's like 5 negatives for every positive. But in our program, we want 2 positives for every negative because we want the kid leaving here happy every day.
Wow. Wow. Another year, another state tournament berth. You got a sparkling record. Your kids are playing hard. They're playing exciting baseball. If you don't mind, share this year's team with all of us.
Oh yeah, we got a quite. We don't have any superstars. This is the first time. Last year we had a lot of D1 players, and we had an outstanding team that had a really great shot at winning state before COVID shut it down. But this year we're a team. Our kids play well together. They're well bonded. They're a family. They like to call themselves a family. But catching, we have Dominic Pretty and Josh Boyer, both doing a fantastic job, both underclassmen. At first base, we have Big Payne Kent, who hit a big 3-run homer for us last game. At second base, we have Tyler Murphy, my son. I think it's a lot easier for him playing for his dad than it is for his dad coaching him. But he's a great kid. He's far exceeded the expectations I've had of him this year. So I'm very proud of him for handling the situation he is in. And he's really he bats second in our lineup. Our leadoff batter is Eric Romero, playing center field, having an outstanding year. Eric's going to go to Feather Rivers in California to play college baseball. My son Tyler's going to Texas A&M, Texarkana. So we have some college kids there. Batting third in the lineup is Ryan Casados, a junior. Um, had the walk-off base hit against Volcano last game. Tremendous player, clutch. He also pitches for us. After that, in the four hole is probably our most known player, Garrett Reddy. He's going to go play for Arizona Western next year. Unbelievable shortstop, the best defensive shortstop in the state, in my opinion, by far. Great kid. Is hitting the ball tremendously. He's our four-hole hitter. I mentioned Payne Kent, our first baseman, our five-hole hitter. Then down in the six-hole, we have Dominic Pretty, the catcher I mentioned, and he's doing great things. We have Noah Boschweiger playing right field for us. His brother is in the Naval Academy, just graduated. His older brother that played for us last year. And Noah's only a sophomore starting for us and having a tremendous season. We have Colt Uphold in left field, and Colt is a senior that has a chance to possibly go play back in Pennsylvania. He hasn't made that decision yet, but we're looking forward to him having good things. And Marcus Chavez, our leading hitter off the bench. Seth Lee, one of our pitchers. We have Kai Fitak, one of our players coming off the bench. Our ace right now on the mound is Devin Alvarado, probably like 3'2" lefty that throws pretty well. And him and Stuart Smith have been doing a great job on the mound, along with Seth Lee and Parker, and we just have, and DH is Elijah Castaneda, who's been crushing the ball for us. He's only a junior. He's been playing hurt all season, so he's not able to throw the ball, and that's why we moved him to DH. And fantastic kid. We have some great kids all the way through the lineup. Henry, too much credit's given to me on the wins and the record and the state tournaments. In Rio Rancho baseball program, we don't ever plan to rebuild. Our motto is we're going to reload every year. We're going to have a great team again next year. We're going to have one the year after that. And that's because we have a great community. We have a great coaching staff. We have some great kids in our community that dedicate themselves to get better in the game of baseball. And we have great young men. They do a lot of community service work. We help the members of our community. They pull weeds in backyards. We have some great kids. So, way too much credit's given to one person. It's a village. It's a village doing a lot of work out here in Rio Rancho, and I'm very proud to be part of that village.
Ladies and gentlemen, you see that? Did you hear that? He doesn't have a note in his hand. He doesn't have his lineup card. He has nothing but the love in his head and his heart for all those kids. He knows that story backwards, forwards, sideways, upside down, all around. Amazing. Neither one of us have a note card today. We love what we do, and thank God we do it pretty well. But that was impressive, Coach. Way to go.
You spend a lot of time with your kids. You're out there every day with them for 2-3 hours. They're in your class. As coaches, it's not like some jobs where you get done with the job and you go home and you do something else. As a coach, you get done with your job, you go home and figure out what you could have done better that day, so you're better the next day. So we're always thinking about our kids, and our staff is talking about them, and the kids are always the first thing on our mind. So, knowing them that well is not really that tough for a coach. All the coaches in the state know our kids pretty well.
Coach, give me a highlight before I let you go here in a few minutes. We're almost out of time. Give me a highlight of this year's season that had drama and excitement written all over it. I mean, you got fans in the stands pulling their hair out. The moment is so thrilling.
We probably had two of those moments this year, and they were probably both last week. We beat Cleveland to win the district championship, and the game went 12 innings. And we brought a kid in, our shortstop Garrett, ready to pitch 1 inning, and he wound up pitching 5. And he had only pitched 1 inning the whole year up to that point. Went 5 innings against Cleveland, got us to win, him and Stuart Smith, and then we won in the 12th inning. So what a way to win a district championship, very exciting. And then the last game didn't mean nothing for district. We were already district champs, but our kids still played their hearts out because they wanted an undefeated season, and they wanted to be undefeated in district. And we were losing going into the 7th inning against Volcano Vista. And our kids came back, got some men on base, and Ryan Casados hit a walk-off base hit at the bottom of the seventh, and our kids got to jump, dog pile him and the excitement. So I would say our last two games were probably the most thrilling of all season. But so those were two of the best highlights of the year as far as baseball goes. But the main highlight of the year is that we had a year. Our kids were able to come out, play baseball, and be part of school, be part of playing baseball, and get their love of being outside the house back again and feel their worthiness. So that's the main highlight is the baseball was back. I'm very appreciative of NMAA and all they have done. Sally Marquez and Dusty Young over at NMAA have been tremendous. I'm very appreciative of Lieutenant Governor Howie Morales, who's always speaking up for sports and everything we do. And we're blessed to have some great people at Rio Rancho and Bruce Carver, Larry Chavez, Vince Metzger, and our great leader, Dr. Cleveland, superintendent of our schools. So we have a lot of good people in Rio Rancho, Henry.
Can I add one more great name that's a part of championships, your legacy, and what you're all about? And gosh, I love this guy, Tony Otero. Tell us about Tony Otero.
Tony Otero is the king of Rio Rancho. I mean, he is the when you need something done, even the mayor probably goes to Tony Otero to get it done. I mean, Tony Otero supports every athletic team in Rio Rancho. He since little to big, little league teams, club teams, traveling teams. He's our main sponsor for Rio Rancho baseball. He will do anything for us that we ask, and he's at our games. He sends me text messages after a big win. Tony Otero is Rio Rancho, and he always will be. I would say if I had to pick out one person in this town that I wanted to represent Rio Rancho and highlight them, what our town was all about, Tony Otero will be my choice as the icon of Rio Rancho. So he is the man, and we all love him very much.
High school sponsors, ladies and gentlemen, are rare, few, and far between. All the games I did up in Rio Rancho, I mean, wow, every one of them. Thank God for Tony Otero, or those kids, those Rams would not have been on the air 90% of those games. He came through, and if he knew there was a great game coming, Henry, this is a great game, man. I'll sponsor it. Get it on. Let's go. I'll see you Saturday. He was directing my path. But man, I relied on him, and he did so much for the kids through the radio because of his big, loving heart. And, two kinds of givers in this world. Givers, or there's two kinds of people in this world. Givers and takers. Tony Otero is one of the greatest givers we will ever meet, no doubt. And you know what? That goes for you too, Coach. You're one of the greatest givers of all time. As we say bye to you right now, I don't want to jinx you, but this has been a blessed season. Tell us all, we've never been a part of an undefeated season. What's that literally like?
I don't know, Henry. I never been part of it neither. It's just now, and I don't think it's really hit me yet. But we try to focus on the next game always. And I think maybe this summer sometime I'll reflect back about what a great season it was. But it really hasn't even hit me yet because we so much focus on the next game. But I'm very excited that our kids, for the rest of their life, no matter what happens, can brag about their undefeated season.
Wow.
They've created a memory for life. What better thing can you ask for as a coach?
Unbelievable. Hey, we have 1 minute left. What do you want to say that we didn't say?
You know what, Henry? There's a lot of coaches out there, especially baseball coaches. I want to give a shout out to the baseball coaches in the state of New Mexico. They work hard. You kind of mentioned it. A lot of times other sports go to the gym, flip on the lights, and they're ready to practice. At the baseball field and the softball field, our coaches go out there every day and they rake and they drag and they fill in holes and they got to worry about floods and the wind and this and that. Baseball coaches and softball coaches in the state of New Mexico are unbelievable. They're great people. I'm actually friends with probably every baseball coach in this state, and every one of them is a good person that loves kids. So I would give a shout out to all you people that are playing for other schools. Respect your coaches, see what you can do to help them out. And you know what? It'll go a lot further than writing anonymous emails trying to get your way. Try to get involved in your program, support your coaches, and be part of the program in a positive way. And like I said, we have some great baseball coaches in the state of New Mexico.
He's a blessed man. He's our friend. See how comfortable it is to share some time with Ron Murphy. Today's his birthday. If you see him, give him a handshake, a high five, whatever, punch in the nose so he'll never forget you. But it's his birthday, and he looks younger than his age, will tell. But, Coach, it's a highlight for me. I've been doing this a while. Highlight for me to have the great Ron Murphy on the Henry T. Show. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Henry. I appreciate our friendship. We go back many moons, and we've gone back a long way. And I appreciate everything you've ever done for kids and for high school sports in New Mexico, for all sports, not just for baseball. And I also appreciate the fact that you let me talk about my kids, my program, and my family on here today. So thank you very much.
Wow. There's only one thing wrong with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the biggest Yankee fan in New Mexico. You're looking at the greatest New York Mets fan in New Mexico.
Can you refer that as the first place Mets, please? The first place Mets. I am the greatest first place Mets fan, and you are the greatest fourth place Yankees fan. Remember that, Henry. Remember that. That's the standards as they stand today.
Amazing. How many trips to Shea Stadium?
Oh, I lived at Shea Stadium. We lived in Queens, Brooklyn and Queens when I was little. And the guy who used to park the Major League Baseball players' cars, he would let us sneak in the back gate about the third inning, and we go in the stadium and watch a lot of. I used to love watching Buddy Harrelson and Tom Seaver and Jerry Kuzman and Ron Swoboda was my favorite player back then. Tommy Agee, Cleon Jones, and then they got to the Mike Piazzas, and I love New York Mets baseball, and I still have a family reunion every year. We go back in July, and we all go to a Met game together and tailgate. So,
greatest catch in New York Mets history. Give it to me.
It's probably Ron Swoboda, Game 4 of the World Series against the Baltimore Orioles, that may have won that World Series for the Mets and not let the momentum turn the other way. And look it up. Ron Swoboda, Game 4 of the World Series, right field, made a diving catch. The ball was about an inch off the field, and he made the catch, got up, and threw it home. And that was the 1969 World Series play for sure.
We love you, Coach. God bless you. Good luck in the tournament. Who do you play tomorrow at what time? Where?
We play Oñate High School, 7 p.m., Rio Rancho High School. And as always, Coach David Reyes will bring a great team. He's a great coach at Oñate High School and a good friend of mine. So we look forward to hosting him.
Will you save me a seat in the stadium?
Good luck on that, Henry. I will tell them to say our last two games, every seat has been taken, and we have been 5 deep in the back. I mean, we have had such crowds at our last 2 games, and we're looking for a good crowd tomorrow night again. So arrive early if you're coming.
Love you, Coach. Take care. Happy birthday.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it. You take care. Love you too. Bye.
See you, buddy. How about that for you, huh? Right on time. He goes to go out to practice now and do his leadership role again. That's Ron Murphy. Say hi to him. Give him a big warm. Happy birthday hug, high five, whatever you've got. Man, we go from one leader to another. But before I go on to this leader, and people demand him on this show now, we might as well call it the Henry and Cheeto show now, because all his fans call me, they email me, they text me. Where's Cheeto? We haven't had him on this week. We're gonna put him on the show. We got to get him a sponsor. We got to pay the guy now. Great leader. Amen. But I want to tell you about a good buddy. You know, State Farm Insurance has been with me since day one. Marty Sykes has been with me since day one. He's one of the major sponsors on this show. And we say thanks to Marty Sykes. We call him coach because he's been a coach, he's been an athlete. Amestroid Drywall. The Amestroids have been athletes, great business people in our community. Richie Tabbitt at Tabbitt Lumber Company. Look at all those sponsors. Racks. The Tabbitts are Racks. And I'll tell you, he and his brother Kenny and all the family, you go see them, they're going to welcome you to Racks. They're all over the state, 6, 7 big buildings serving our public. Hydro Bar with the Baca family up there. Man, they're great. Indigo Mortgage, Ben Lucero. Thank you, Big Ben. You're going to go do mortgages, go see Ben at Indigo Mortgage. Thank you, Kevin, at the canteen. ProView Network, they're always there for thousands of kids every year, putting them on television. Can you imagine? Wow. Steve Davis, Alden, who's punching the buttons for this show today. Great people, dedicated, professionals, massive job, and they do it with love. It's a big love story down there at Provo. Speaking about love, let's bring on maybe one of the most loved New Mexico State athletes of all time. Man, he led the league in jump shots from the corner, led the league in block shots, led the league in fewest turnovers for an athlete, led the league in girlfriends too.
Oh,
That's a whole different book.
there you go again.
But he wore number 52 in the program, number 1 in your heart. There he is right now. School teacher, principal in LA, comes back to New Mexico often. His family is here. And the next time he comes to Albuquerque, I'm going to take him to the Pinto restaurant and buy him a big, big meal. And we love the guy. Chito Reyes. When I was a kid, I'd go in the backyard and pretend, man, I'm shooting at my little broken down hoop, had to fix the rim all the time, had the best net. I like to swish that net from the corner. And I would pretend I was the great Chito Reyes. And that helped me be great in my own backyard against myself. Chito, good morning. How are you, bro?
How you doing there, Mr. Henry? What's going on? Hey, man, I enjoy your your introductions, but sometimes you get carried away with that. No, but thank you. How are you, Henry? Good morning.
No, man, you led the league in girlfriends.
No, come on now.
Those are stats Henry T watches over. Nobody has that stat but me.
Yeah, how are you, Henry?
Coach, I'm great because of people like you in my corner. The marvelous work you've done as an educator. I wanted to touch on that today. You're blessed. You came from a tough neighborhood at times. I mean, you didn't always have it easy, but you always gave and gave and gave. And your story, when you really evaluate the story of Chito Reyes, it's a love story. I've had the honor of meeting your mom. She expressed that kindness and love for me. And I'm a brand new acquaintance of her son, but she treated me like gold. And the way she called you Hito and the way she admired you for who you are as a man today, that's all I needed to know about my friend Chito Reyes is the way your mom treated you. What a life you've had.
You know, Henry, it's you never. Sometimes you kind of amaze yourself about how much blessings you have. You know, every time you turn around, you feel blessed because of the people around you. You know, and sometimes, you know, the way we were brought up, and like if you know, not really having a whole bunch of stuff around us. You know, none of this social media, none of this, not too much TV, not too much radios or whatever. But you know, I'm honored to be able to say that someone really took kind to me and wanted me to be raised the right way. And I think to develop some kind of morals and develop strong character and especially your integrity meant a lot to all of us. And I think that's one of the basic things that we all need nowadays that a lot of the people unfortunately don't have. And as I started growing up and getting older and started realizing things in life, I realized that you have to have respect from the people around you. And the only way you're going to get that is by you yourself giving that respect and acting like like you're supposed to. You know, there's not too many people that nowadays that you see taking the time to really get somebody by the arm and let's sit down, let's talk about this. And when unfortunately I became after I finished playing, I retired from playing. I became an educator, and I realized that even here in New Mexico, I'm sure I have the same thing. But I was actually started here in Los Angeles, and I was able to work with a lot of the kids that were from low income, and they were actually high risk kids who had been in trouble before, who had been kicked out of other schools. And those are the same ones that you can actually take time to sit down and start maybe, you know and what you were brought up with. I've always said this. I don't care if you're like the smartest guy at the university, you graduated number 1 in the whole university, but if you can't convey that, what you know, to somebody else is not receptive and can't be receptive to that, then what has it done? What good have you been able? You did this, you did that, but what you know is you're supposed to convey to the youth, to the young people, to make them trust you in what you're trying to tell them. Because a lot of the times their parents don't even take time to listen to them. And I found I always had the big satisfaction of sitting down with some of these kids, and all I would ever ask, I said, man, come on, you got to be a good person. And, you can't be talking about somebody's mother. You can't talk about this, but what do you expect in return? You know, you're going to get the same thing. And I always took pride in that you got to listen to these kids. And like I said, with the way I was raised and the thing that I felt, the love that I felt when I was growing up, it still exists. Like even my mother, as you know, we talk about my mother, and I appreciate you talking about her like that. She still will scold me, will tell me this is not right, this is wrong, because she's concerned. I always listen to her, and we were so blessed to have someone that really took the care to, and that's what all these coaches, these teachers, sometimes you had to appreciate where you have these people in front of you that you're in a position, you have that platform to talk to the kids and to find out what's really going on with them. And what you know is so important because what you know and the way you convey it to somebody makes a lot of difference. And I've always said this, that don't ever minimize the potential impact you have on someone. These kids are willing to listen if somebody just takes the time to care for them.
Wow. When you got off practice and Coach Henson said, guys, that's it for today. Make sure you do your schoolwork tonight. Be careful on the way home. We'll see you again tomorrow. And you're on your way home. You're hungry, man. You're tired. But you're looking forward to a highlight. Your mom is making a dinner for you.
Yeah.
She knows Chito's worked hard. At school all day, practice for 3 hours, and your mom is going to do something special for you. Tell me about a mom with love in her heart, how she prepares a dinner for her beloved son, Chito.
Well, well, I'm glad. I'm sure she'd be glad to hear that from you. But you know, I think it's all about how you raise somebody, and she knows, especially when you're young and you're running all day, and you can, like a horse, and then you force you come home, and she expects you to sit down and eat what she's got. You're not going to have steak. You're not going to have all this prime rib or all this stuff. You're going to have your beans and your potatoes and your tortillas and your chili and stuff. But she saw to it that it was nice and warm, they're fresh and stuff, and you sit down and be sure that you're fed. And the thing about it is, get your rest, be fed. And your mom, especially like on your birthday, oh, mijo, he likes chile verde con carne. So I'm gonna make him a special plate, and they make you feel good in their own way. She's giving you a gift because, hey, we may not have anything else, but I'm giving you this, and it makes you feel good about that. And somebody takes care of that. She was wonderful, and she still is. God bless her. That she's always been concerned, and she knows what my brother and I and my sister, we come home, and you got to feed these guys. It's big old dudes come in. You just didn't get like one a bunch of bananas. You got to have like 4 bunch of bananas, 5 gallons a week, and all this. And somehow they did it, Henry. Somehow, my dad never really had a big formal education, and we were out from the ranches in New Mexico installing farms. And one way or another, we were always fed. My mom never worked. And so it was always up to my dad to come, but we had food on the table, and you had to have you ate, and then you were always had your place. You sit down, you do what you got to do. You don't go outside and go messing around outside. You stay inside. And I appreciate that. That was really the thing that you need, because it didn't hurt me, not at all.
Wow. How good was that meal?
Oh my goodness. I could stay there and eat for an hour, but sometimes you had to share, so it's not that much on the table. You had to split a hamburger if you had to,
I could just taste those tortillas.
Oh my goodness.
And the love behind that dinner. Oh man.
Yeah.
Days. It's a meal.
One thing I always say this, I'm an early riser, and people say, well, why you get up at 5:30, 5 o'clock, Well, when I was living with my grandmother and my mom and all this, well, they all used to get up at 5 o'clock and start making your tortillas. And I mean, you're not going to be able to sleep if you start smelling the tortillas up in the morning. You really have some huevos and some chili, and then you get up. So everybody got up, and so you're just, even to this day, I get up at 5:30, 5 o'clock. Nobody's making me tortillas though, but it's always awesome.
There might be some kids out there, Chito, that feel sorry for themselves. Yeah. That life has given them a bad opportunity. They don't have what other kids have. And once they start figuring out, they really do have what it takes.
Yeah.
But they have their own little pity party.
Yeah.
They don't realize they have the blessings already.
Yeah.
All they need is a little inspiration.
Yeah.
From a Chito Reyes. Give a little bit of that.
Henry, one thing, yeah. One thing, Henry, that of course, being around athletic sports, even I was a baseball player, in basketball, I ran track, I high jumped and all this. I did all of that stuff. But you know what? One thing that I've always run across a lot of the kids, especially like in New Mexico, and I always follow up, and especially the Hispanic kids. I see a good superstar with all the talent and all this, and you get to the high school level, and you see them excel, and and then what I would like to see them remain humble, be strong, work on what they have to work on, but at the same time be accountable for their body and be responsible. You should. One thing that I always took pride in is I had to go out there. I didn't want to be just sitting on the bench. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to work hard, because I knew if I did that, I would go out there and a coach would look at me. They see me busting my tail, go out there and be perspiring and all that. But one thing that I see in a lot of the high school players, and like I said, there's a lot of talent in New Mexico and in California and everywhere. And unfortunately, I find a lot of times that, you talk to their father or whatever, and they say, well, what happened to Jimmy? What happened to Tony? Well, he started over here, but he dropped out. Well, the coach didn't like him. The coach liked the other players and he wasn't playing. And that's one thing that I always kind of had a hard time with that. I didn't want that because you know what? If you work hard and they offered you, it could be a small scholarship at a small school, whatever it is, work at it, stay there because you know what? The school is always going to be there. Why are you dropping out? Who are you hurting? You're hurting yourself. Why don't you stay there and get your education? Go to school and work on yourself instead of, oh, the coach didn't like me. He didn't play me. And that's to me, that's a bad nerve because, okay, so maybe the other guy's working harder. But at the same time, don't drop out of school. Don't leave, I got to go somewhere else where they're going to play me. That's the wrong attitude to have. I can understand you're frustrated sometimes, but just work harder. And like I said, I've seen too many kids just drop off and they stop playing whatsoever. And that's what I'm thinking. I always tell them, man, don't leave. Don't leave that little grant, that little scholarship, whatever you're giving it. Stay there, get your education. And that in itself would be a big old prize, a big old honor that they're going to have.
If Coach Henson would have seen Chito Reyes, you're 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", athletic, and you had a bad day or he got on you and you went over in the corner and started pouting and complaining. If he saw that regularly, that attitude, that negative self, feel sorry for me attitude in you would have never developed into the star that you were.
Never.
He would have never put up with that.
Never.
He would have tried to help you.
Right.
If you neglected his motivation, inspiration, his help, you would have been done.
Yeah.
But you came out and outworked the problem.
Yeah.
And therefore, you were a scholar athlete.
Yeah.
I mean, academics, ladies and gentlemen, Chito Reyes, plaques to prove it, character, good man, lots of friends, team leader, respect from his teammates and the entire community. Hard work earned you a lot in your life.
Yes.
And if we can just zero in on New Mexico State, one phase of your life, nobody outworked Chito Reyes in the Pennings. Am I right?
Well, not only that like once again, I look back at how blessed I was in a sense that being that I was also raised by my grandmother down there when I was living down there. She always told me one thing. I think I mentioned this to you before when I first started my journey there in New Mexico State. She called me into her house there in San Miguel, and she was in a little rocking chair, and she told me, she said, you know what? I'm so proud of what's going on in your life right now and what the journey you're about to embark on. And she said, but I want to ask a big favor. She said, I don't want you to ever come tell me how good you are. Let other people come tell me, not that you're a good ball player, but that you're a good man. And, that's all. And what you tell me doesn't count. Let other people come tell me that you work hard, that you're trying your best, that you do that. And that's all I ask. And I think that's the best advice I could have had. Not that I was going to waver from that, but it kind of reassured me there's other people that care for me, that want me to succeed. And I wasn't about to let anybody down. And so, sometimes at the end of practice, Coach Henson would, he had us like really, but then again, look who are my partners: Jimmy Collins, Charlie Chris, Sam Lacey, Jeff Smith, John Burgess. These guys, Roy Neal, all these guys are superstars. And you see them running up and down the court. You mean you tell me I'm going to lag behind? And no, that's not going to work. You want to be, we're all part of the team. And so by not working hard, I'm letting them down too. And so I think eventually that's why we had such big success. I'm playing against these other teams because we weren't going to let somebody outwork us and beat us. We had too much pride for that.
Wow. I can just picture it on the floor with All-American NBA star Sam Lacey, Jimmy Collins, the same All-American college player, NBA star. Here's Charlie Chris, his Atlanta uh, his Atlanta team is in the NBA right now, in the NBA playoffs. And Charlie was one of the original point guards for the Hawks.
Yeah.
These are legendary players, not only known in Las Cruces, but internationally.
Yeah.
And they are on your team.
Yeah.
You're a teammate of theirs.
Yeah.
They treat you with respect.
Yeah.
They could write books.
Yeah.
I can imagine how inspired you were every day to be on the court with these guys.
Yeah.
They would pay special attention to you because they respected you so much.
Yeah.
What was that like?
Well, it was always an honor because, you had these stars that, but then again, they didn't consider themselves stars. That's the one thing that Coach Henson kind of kept everybody at a level keel as far as your approach, your attitude towards the whole team. We're all the same. At that point, we're all the same. And, if I'm on the court, I have a job to do. And the guys expect me to do a certain thing. If they get double teamed or whatever, I got to pop up there and make it easy for them to give me a shot or whatever. But the whole thing is that they're all of them have worked hard, and we took pride in being with each other. And man, just like I said, come back afterward. They're in their careers, and they'd always call me up. Hey, Chito, we're here. We're playing the Lakers tonight. We're come on down. We got tickets for this and that. Well, what an honor for these guys. They right there. After the game, coming to the hotel with us. I'd be in the hotel like with Jimmy or Sam, and then they'd be like the Chet Walker, Jimmy Collins, and then all the other big stars that even with Bob Lanier, I was in the car with him, and all these guys. I'm with Charlie, and they're treating us like we're all like, but they worked hard, and they had. And one thing I was really comfortable with is I know that the plays weren't designed for me in college; they were designed for these guys. And my points that I got, it was right off the board, the rebound. So hey, if I want to score, I better hit the rebounds, man. I better do something, So, but I took pride. We've all been we have an eternal friendship, fraternity of brothers. That it's amazing, Henry. We're so blessed. Like I said, I feel so blessed to be able to talk to you about this.
Chito, Aggie Nation depends on you. They're put pressure on me. They want you part of the show now. They love what you have to say. They love you as a person.
Oh, thank you, Henry.
Never forget you. Thank you for you being on my show today.
Well, thank you, Henry. Anytime I feel honored. I really do. I mean, what you've done for me, and I tell you what, I know, believe it or not, you have a lot of fans out here in California. A lot of fans that always look you up, and I'm proud of you. And I've told you this before privately, that I'm proud of you, what you've done, and how you've come back, and you still stand strong. You weathered a big storm, losing your mother, and still be able to stand here and be a strong man and be successful. And you got my respect, my brother. Total respect for what you've done.
God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.
Sure.
Aggie Nation will be on my case, man.
All right. You got it anytime, Eddie. I'm honored. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show today. Ron Murphy, Chito Reyes, inspiration galore. Eat it up. They'll be back again to Jimmy, our producer, Jimmy Tran, Alden at ProView Network, geniuses behind this TV experience. Thank you to all of you. God bless you. And we'll talk to you again in a week. See you later. Thank you. There's our sponsors. Man, Emma Story, Indigo Mortgage, Rax Lumber, ProView. Look at their Hydro Bar. Kevin out there at the canteen. Man, these people, they love bringing you this show. And I love doing this show. See you later. I got something to share with you next time we're on. Career oriented. Man, Henry T is far from over. There's a whole lot more left in the Henry T tank. I'll share it with you next time. Take care. God bless you. Love you a lot. See you.